How do flat-chested women get mammograms? I 37-yo went to get a mammogram yesterday due to family history of breast cancer, but also my boobs have been hurting for a while. This was my first time. I'm not a big-chested woman, but I am not flat, I'm average. For those who don't know how it's done, you put one of your boobs on a platform and another thing comes down to flatten it like a pancake. For me it took about 11 pounds of pressure and then they take a photo. While it was happening, I was wondering if there isn't much there to actually lift and put on the platform. How does it get done? Is there another way of taking photos of your boobs? X200B. I'm not trying to be offensive in my question. Edit. Yes, guys can get breast cancer too. I just didn't have them in mind when typing up my post, but this question applies to them too, unless they got some big moves, then I'm guessing they have enough to plop down on platform. They manage to mash down what little we have. The technicians are trained to get as much as they. Unfortunately, it can be very uncomfortable. If you are high risk and have dense and or small breasts, your doctor should be ordering ultrasound as well. They train the technicians on how to work with pretty much any amount of breast tissue. If absolutely necessary, though, they can do an ultrasound or other scan to identify potential tumors. It's 2023. Why isn't there a better way to get mammograms? Loudly crying. I have men patients with breast cancer risk genes. And they get mammos too. They squish those babies to within an inch of their lives. Literally. I'm glad you asked this, cause I don't even fill in a cup and I've been wondering what to expect when the time comes. I asked this question out of curiosity when I got mine this year. And the tech said she uses an itty bitty titty spatula to kinda scoop them onto the platform. Yuck. Painfully. My boobs are wide, but very flat. And apparently also very dense from being over 35 and not having children. Had no idea that was a thing. The amount of maneuvering that needed to be done with that amount of pressure over such dense tissue had me sore for a handful of days afterward. I'd take a no lubrication pap smear over that experience again. I'll see about getting an ultrasound for the next one. Size of boobs here. Have had 4 mammograms and biopsies plus lumpectomies are formed. Where there's a will to get not existent boobs between the mammogram plates, there is a way. Somehow the technicians know how to work with them. Just feels like you have jammed your shoulders in there too, rolling on the floor, laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing, rolling on the floor, laughing. Because I make ductal carcinomas and there is no way to 100% remove ductal tissue from the skin. They shove my post-mastectomy nubs in there every few years and it's bullshit. I'm really small-chested and was shocked at how much boob they found. Oh man. This is my time to shine. Deflated a cup over here. When I have a mam. I swear on God they use my titty, my whole armpit and all the skin over the top of my ribs. They just be grabbing whatever breast adjacent flesh they can and they move quick too, cause they gotta slap it and trap it before the skin goes back where it belongs. It's not a great time. This is a complete aside. But wouldn't you think by now they would have a more dignified, less painful way of doing this? Like, I know some men do get mammograms, but if most men had to, I feel like there would be more push to find another diagnostic procedure. I once asked the technician how in the world they accommodate large busted women when my little B cups fill the plate. She explained that the X-ray plates come in different sizes. If I remember it correctly, in my case they had to change the angle of the platform for me, because otherwise it was just physically impossible with my small chest. The technician even made a comment about that, which was rude, I think. Also, it was very painful because I had to stand at a weird angle and it felt like my boob was getting twisted off. After the horrendous pain of them trying to squash my inadequate boob tissue between the glass plates, they usually give up and do mine using an ultrasound. I honestly can't remember. I had a lump. Went to get it scanned. I'm small. Was an A cup at the time. They circled so much of my breasts because it was all abnormal. Turns out my breasts are mostly just scar tissue and cysts. I opted to keep my lumpy cyst. It warns me when my period is coming. They were really worried about the scarring. I lied and told them it was from years of martial arts. Nope. It was from when my classmates would pin me between the door and a wall. Then would jab me as hard as they could in the chest with their fingers. I tried to snitch. No one cared. Tried to just stand away from my peers. Got in trouble. Genetic history of breast cancer. Maternal side. I'm female. A cup bra. Avoid mammograms at all costs due to size. Do not tolerate the squeeze and dig for quality pictures. Alternative is MRI breast, which I pay for every second year. And get screened with ultrasound every year. Much more comfortable and accurate. MRI shows anatomical structure which can be correlated with ultrasound. As barely an A cup, this is a legitimate worry of mine. Painfully. I believe smaller chested women also have denser breast tissue, at least that's what my doctor said, so also should get an ultrasound at the same time. Fun fact for my fellow Americans: routine mammo is covered by insurance, but the routine ultrasound for dense breasts is not. That was a fun surprise. I'm sure they must be able to do it. I wonder how they flatten out large dense breasts. Especially augmented ones. Mine are sagging after having kids and losing weight. Tennis balls in tube socks lol, so they're perfect for mammograms. They barely have to press the plate down, rolling on the floor laughing. They will jam those plates into your ribs. Scrape them against your sternum and pull whatever they can between the plates. It hurts. I love that you paid attention to the pressure. That's my entertainment during mine. Lefty took 34 pounds last year. Hurts like a bitch. Imagine trying to squish your wrist skin together onto a tray. Painfully. Oh, my poor sister. They stretched and pulled on her boob to get it across the plate. She said it hurt so bad. I'm only a B cup and they were able to. Luckily the cancer scare was confirmed to only be fibrocystic breasts. I'm small-chested and did find it uncomfortable. It really is dependent on your tech, I think. I'm have 5 mammograms and they were all painless and took not much time. You put one of your boobs on a platform and another thing comes down to flatten it like a pancake. Good news: new technology is coming to a radiography center near you. My partner reports that the new machines squish you vertically, and the camera rotates on a frame around it, generating a 3D-like picture. We assume. And the plates are heated, no more shrinkage issues. She reported it still wasn't exactly what you'd call fun, but it was a hell of a lot easier than 2 years ago. They do it the exact same way. A big portion of what they are trying to squish is in the upper chest armpit area. I had a double mastectomy due to breast cancer, but no reconstruction. I had another lump pop up and had to have a biopsy and a mammogram afterward. I literally have no breast tissue and they still squished what little skin is there in my armpit. It's amazing how they can still get the plates down. During my exam they kept pulling basically from my armpit and almost my neck. It reminded me of pulling taffy. Yeah, after reading these comments I'm just going to be skipping this. For me it took about 11 pounds of pressure, good lord. Today on the hydraulic press channel.